we've got a lot going on in the world. Cape Coral, Florida, is apparently going is talking about mounting cameras on top of their garbage trucks in order to hunt for permit violations using AI software, so that a person doesn't have to be paid a full-time salary to drive around in a truck looking for issues. And so we'll talk about that a little bit. New Florida bike legislation is going into effect, has already gone into effect, actually. China is going to the moon again. Uh, and they say, unlike the US, that they are not going to hide photographs of what they see. The US created a huge AI investment bubble, and China aims to pop it. Then we've got Florida Man, the alligator bartender, the caterpillar defense, and the no seriously guy. So without further delay, we'll go ahead and jump right into it. What's been going on at your work in the area of substance abuse, Lauren?
Wow, it's been actually pretty calm. Nothing too crazy. I have to think for a second. We've had a lot of jail intakes. Um,
Well, while you think about that, we'll go
yeah,
ahead and get into the Florida bike legislation, which is a little bit weird. I don't even know what to think about that, but I'm not really into new legislation, just as a rule of thumb. We have tons of legislation. Government is outpacing population growth when it comes to spending, and but we're not doing much to delete legislation as we get it. So we just add laws every year, and nobody is thinking about like what's that gonna amount to after 10 years or 100 years, yeah, or 200 years. It's like we just have to have some kind of system in place for deleting legislation. Otherwise, we're going to be completely overrun. You're not going to be able to blow your nose without a permit. And so, new Florida bike legislation. That page is having trouble loading, so I'm just going to forget about it for now. Cape Coral garbage truck. So, this was one that I was just like immediately, no, I can't get down with this at all. Unless you think about how inefficient it is for a person to be paid a full-time salary to drive around and look for permit violations. It's like, do I really want Karen in my neighborhood, or the male equivalent? What's that, Chad?
Chad, yeah.
Chad, an unfortunate designation because I do have a good friend named Chad who is a nice guy and is far from a Karen. But anyways, this is the kind of thing that it's like, maybe we just need to automate it. This is how I feel about a lot of things. It's like I don't think police should spend the majority or any time at all giving tickets for people rolling through stop signs or going a little over the speed limit. It
Hmm.
just completely ruins public perception of police officers, including myself. I very much don't like police officers. It has nothing to do with them as people. It has everything to do with the fact that they're completely stigmatized themselves by getting people for minor infractions when their job should really be protecting the public.
Serve and protection.
Yeah, community, whatever, community
Mhm.
protection of some sort.
Yeah.
Why are they not walking neighborhoods?
Yeah, I will honestly say, like, I grew up in a family of police officers, grew up with police officers at my house. I was in the police station on a regular basis. And as an adult, I almost panic when I see a police officer. Like, I feel like I'm going to be in trouble. Like, I don't
Exactly.
feel safe. I feel like I'm going to get in trouble for making a very minor mistake.
Exactly. And it's like everybody gets that feeling when cop car, when you see a cop car get behind you on the road, you get white knuckles and you get
Mhm.
afraid. And I mean, think about that sentence for a second.
Yeah.
Everyone who sees a cop gets afraid.
Yes.
That should be the exact opposite. You should feel safe when you see a cop. And they've screwed themselves because people don't feel
Mhm.
that way. I don't feel that way. I get picked on by cops.
You do.
Everybody agrees too that that shouldn't be the case, and yet we don't do anything to change it. Where are our representatives here? They're just
Mhm.
completely dropped the ball. They don't seem to care. And I understand it's a source of revenue, which is why it's like just install speed cameras. And I know people will get up in arms about that, but it's the lesser of the two evils.
We
Just
have a lot of
automate it.
tickets.
Just get traffic light tickets. Right. You'll write more tickets that way. You'll bring in more money, but no one really seems to disagree that you shouldn't be running red lights. And
I run
so,
them all the time.
yeah, if you feel you're wrong, you can appeal those tickets also. And maybe don't make the speed limit cameras like if it's a 55 zone, don't set it to 55. Like give people tickets for going 15 over or whatever,
Hmm.
but nothing below that. And so there should be a little bit of wiggle room there. But it's a completely solvable problem. This issue of poor public perception of police officers, and they just don't do nothing about it. I'm going to be writing letters to our representatives about that because that really pisses me off.
What
Um,
about this Cape Coral AI thing that you were just talking
Okay,
about?
yeah, so I did look into that, and they don't actually have plans to put that into place
Mhm.
yet. They're just talking about it, as it seems. Alexis, knock it off. They're just talking about it, and so it's not completely certain that it's gonna take effect. Seems like someone was just spitballing there who works for the local government of Cape Coral, Florida. But in other news,
So just explain to me, are they wanting to look for like small violations? Because I think there's enough old people in Florida that look for small violations as they're driving down the street.
there's enough people, yeah.
I got written a ticket one time for leaving my garbage can out for more than 5 minutes, 5 hours after it was supposed to be put
Five
away.
hours?
Yes, I got a ticket. I was summoned to court and I called the Sarasota County Clerk of Courts, and they said that some man was driving up and down my street and turned in like five people for leaving out their garbage cans.
Did they make you pay it?
No, they did not. The guy that I talked to on the phone said, just move your garbage cans behind your fence and I will drive by and take a picture. And then he had also told me that the lady that lived next door to me, that he turned her in, and she had and I had told the guy on the phone, I was like, she has a permit to where she leaves hers out all the time because she's handicapped, and they actually come out and they collect it for her. They'll put it back. And this like old disgruntled man was trying to get everybody in violation
Because he's got nothing but
because he has
time.
nothing but time.
What a douche.
I know. I didn't have to go to court or pay a ticket, thankfully, or a fine.
Yeah. There's so many examples of that too. That's why we don't need bigger and bigger federal government because people tend to regulate themselves on local levels.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but that's crazy. I thought that it was like 2 days after. That's what one HOA I used to live in did it. I would never own a house in HOA, but
Mm-hmm.
not again. I rented that house years ago when I was younger. So anyway, for Florida bike legislation, this already started. I want to say it was like the 6th of June. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But this is state government wide legislation. And so it is not local. I am totally against this bike legislation, even though me and a lot of people can, I'm sure, agree you shouldn't be driving your bike 50 miles an hour on the sidewalk. You're putting people in danger. It's just an example of, do we really need more oversight? Because local governments, towns, cities, they can have legislation on this themselves.
Are you talking about e-bikes?
E-bikes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. Um, so any motorized bike, the deal is now you can't operate it for more than 10 miles an hour when you're within 50 feet of a pedestrian.
Okay.
When you're not within 50 feet of a pedestrian, you can operate as fast as you want, I guess. And when you're about to pass somebody, you have to make an audible noise, either with your mouth or a horn, or your horn mouth,
I would say I know someone that has a really good horn mouth.
or whatever. Yeah. Or but you have to make some kind of sound to let them know you're passing. Now, the reason I'm against this, uh, okay, so I haven't gotten to the really good stuff yet, which is so it imposes these restrictions plus designates an e-bike task force statewide. And it's like, Of course, a new department of government. That's exactly what we need. Now, the reason that these are good things that are completely unnecessary is that cities already have the ability to pass their own laws in regards to e-bike restrictions. So we're really just creating redundancy in government here. It's completely unnecessary. And this task force is just so, I wonder if they're going to have t-shirts.
Or is it a task force? Or are they going to be wearing police uniforms like the police officers that are on bicycles? Because like in Miami, there was like police officers, like bike cops, like bicycle cops,
Right.
and then like motorcycle cops, horse cops. There's cops on horses in Miami.
Yeah. Yeah, there should be cops on bikes and things.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is a lot of those people are doing like tickets too.
Yeah, they
And
are.
it's like for Pete frickin' sake, if you don't have anything to do, just look at things that seem out of place. Like
Mm-hmm.
just protect the community. This drives me freaking nuts. Like I went to war for this country. I come back to dickheads who are writing tickets for like rolling through stop signs. And it's just not the world we were supposed to live in. They shouldn't have the ability to even do that.
Mm-hmm.
It makes zero sense to me, and it makes people afraid of cops. And the whole thing is when anybody's car or whatever gets broken into, we're like, how can this happen? And it's always the same excuse: we don't have enough police.
Because they're
Right?
too busy writing tickets.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're too busy writing tickets that they don't need to be writing. For Pete's sake, do something about it. It makes zero sense at all.
So, what are your thoughts on the possible changes with the e-bikes? Like, do you think people should have to slow down by
Yes,
pedestrians?
I
And
do. Yeah.
what about like when I go to this restaurant with my dad and there's a gentleman that does this music bingo and he was on his e-bike a few months ago. He got hit by a car
Yeah.
and it was a hit and run and he broke like 3 ribs and punctured his lung from it.
Sucks to be him.
It does, but should there be like more rules like protecting people on e-bikes?
Maybe there should be. I don't think that there should be more government at all in this. I
Mm-hmm.
think that we can police ourselves when
Yeah.
it comes to e-bikes. The problem is just not big enough to involve government anything past the local level.
And this is specifically in Florida.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like, and I always go back to this, and being a Floridian, I think there's a lot of older people, a lot of snowbirds that come down here because, like, in my community, there's a ton of kids on e-bikes, like middle school, high school kids. And in like the local pages, like the neighborhood pages, there's just a plethora of older people that are complaining about the kids or the quote unquote kids over in Cocoa Plum or by Publix or at the Target or Walmart shopping center on e-bikes driving and how like they're reckless or in the way and they shouldn't be allowed to ride their bikes. I feel like it's like an old person thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, we need more golf cart regulation. That's what we
There you
need
go.
down here. These
For sure.
jerkheads who go 15 miles an hour on the highway.
And a 75.
Yeah. Put and traffic lights where it takes them forever to accelerate through and then you miss the green light. Pedestrian safety rules. Okay, so I do have the regulations brought up on shared pathways not adjacent to roadways, e.g., park trails. Yield to pedestrians and give an audible signal, bell, voice, horn before passing. Speed limits near pedestrians on sidewalks or pedestrian designated areas do not exceed 10 miles an hour if a pedestrian is within 50 feet. Shared path regulations reinforces yield signal, no broad class ban statewide, but locals can restrict. Duh, we already had that. We don't need a law saying that. So basically, we have law saying that locals can make their own laws.
Hmm.
New enforcement data creates the Micromobility Device Safety Task Force under DHSMV to review laws, recommend improvements, and report by October 2026. Requires tracking e-bike crashes and incidents. So they're trying to get statistics basically.
I feel like a lot of those rules and regulations are already instilled with regular bicyclists.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. And there are bike lanes, as this goes on to say. What's not changed? Bike lanes, all classes allowed. Class 3 riders 16 plus in bike lanes. I didn't know that. So you have to be over 16 to ride in a bike lane?
That's ridiculous.
Hmm. City street roads. All classes permitted where bikes are allowed. Obey traffic laws. Sidewalks generally prohibited. We already went through that. Shared use patterns, blah, blah, blah. And that goes into the classes of different bikes that nobody's interested in. They're class one, class two, class three, pedal assist, non pedal assist. Uh, class one, usually okay, blah, blah, blah. So, anyways, China is going to the moon.
Mm.
They've already been to the moon. They're mining for some things on the dark side of the moon, apparently.
Some moonstones.
Yeah. Um, Now, the United States and Russia signed an agreement years ago that when they went to the moon, they would conceal certain information about it from the public. All right, NASA released some photographs of the moon, and of course, this you just don't do this now. Like with the Mitch McConnell photo, you don't try and fool people. So they, especially through photographic evidence, NASA put out these photos, and some internet sleuths went, "Hey, wait a minute, this has been touched up.
Mm-hmm.
These photos of the moon." And then NASA was like, "No, they're not." And then other experts came around and in evaluating photographic evidence, and they were like, whatever, photo forensic
Mm-hmm.
experts were like, yes, it has. You can see right here. This is clear indication that you've used before we started using AI. What we had the Apple program, what was it, Photoshop.
Yeah, Photoshop.
So back then, it was everyone was like, yeah, you photoshopped it. Look,
Mm-hmm.
it says right here. And
Yeah.
then NASA came back and went, okay, yeah, we photoshopped it,
Mm-hmm.
but we did it for your own good. And
Hmm.
here's why. And they came up with this really stupid excuse as to why they had to Photoshop it for us. Um, and then
Do you know
the
what the excuse was?
no, I don't, because it was so dumb. And the photos before they were photoshopped showed things that looked like unnaturally made structures,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so maybe they just didn't want to get people's wheels turning in their heads. But anyways, China said, "Hey, we never signed that agreement. We now have the ability to go to space. We're not going to hide any of our moon photographs."
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So we'll know what it actually looks like.
Well, no, yeah.
Unless it's an AI photo and there's like an extra limb on the astronaut.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But did I show you that? I didn't show you this yet. So Mitch McConnell, apparently his team is big into AI because there's a photograph of him doing quite well in the hospital, uh, sitting right up in his hospital bed.
Mm-hmm.
Only, uh-oh, there's a couple extra Y's in the word Yankee. Uh, they missed that one on the newspaper. And this is clearly an AI photo of him. He is obviously not doing well. He completely blanked out during a speech.
Oh, I remember you did show me the speech.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
why we have these people in. I mean, supposedly we're meant to believe Joe Biden was running the country for a while, and Mitch McConnell. It's just tomfoolery on all sides.
Yes.
It's all fake. I mean, these are just talking heads put in place by lobbies,
Mm-hmm.
banks, Israel,
They're just
pharmaceutical
puppets.
companies. Yeah, it's, I hate to be jaded, but it's just, I'm jaded. And we get this huge rise now of, what is it, DSA? Yeah, the DSA, which is basically socialism reborn. Uh, this is also a part of our news story today. I guess I didn't scroll down far enough past Florida man. The DSA openly admits that what they're doing is getting their hardcore socialists elected by having them pretend to be moderate Democrats.
Of
So these socialist parties have made their name DSA. It goes down a lot easier than socialist.
course it does.
And so, in a recent speech, one of the people running the DSA has said that we will Trojan horse the DNC, the Democratic National Convention. So they are going to put their hardcore people in who are very communist bent, and they're going to kind of tone it down a little bit to get into office, and then turn up full volume Stalin when they get in.
Mm.
Fortunately, there's not really enough of them to make votes, but there will be. And it's bizarre to me that this just keeps coming around. We just have these cycles of people who don't read the right things or don't read things that don't agree with what their idea is. I'm sure they read, they just stay in this information bubble where they read only positive things about socialism. But all you got to do, we just looked this up. I forget the name of the author. There's been time and time and time and time again where people have like socialism's great because I think it sounds great. We should be more communistic in our culture and where we help each other and work together and we don't have huge income gaps. The problem is, how do you accomplish it?
Emma Goldman.
Emma Goldman, yeah, she wrote this book about her disillusionment of the Soviet Union. She was talking about how great it was. And so I think the US government sent her ass there. I know they did it for this other guy. They deported him to the Soviet Union.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
and after getting there, he was like, "Okay, it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
My mistake." Because when you centralize government into too much power into a small group of people, or just a few people, then, or even one person, God forbid, um, you just don't have a large enough collection of ideas, especially people who disagree with each other. It's very important that people disagree with each other. Our system of government sucks, but it is much better than anything else, as it turns out. I'm sure there's probably a better way to accomplish what we want in regard to freedom and prosperity. But when you have a government where the power is just centralized and doesn't have enough checks and balances, then you can just entertain your stupid ideas without enough pushback. And so this is like stuff that Mao did and killed 50 million Chinese because he's like, you know what? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me that we're doing this with the farming. And so he changed something about farming that made it so that they didn't have agriculture for a while, which was enough to kill 50 million people.
Mm.
Um, and he would have known it was a bad idea if he had just listened to a couple farmers. And the Soviet Union had decided, okay, we're gonna, in order to just get our books straight and get a little bit more capital into the country, we're gonna sell a lot of our grain, which means these areas can't eat it. So they took grain from people, from the farmers. They made it illegal. If you picked up a piece of grain from the ground and gave it to your family, you were executed on the spot. And so millions of Ukrainians were killed or starved, many executed also,
That's horrific.
including the people who knew how to farm, which is a big problem because then after you get things back into normal, you've killed off a generation of people who know how to do it correctly. And so millions of people were killed in the Soviet Union because the government was selling all of their food to another country. And how do you do that against the will of the people? You get the monopoly on violence. It's the only way to do it, right? Because you have to be willing to enforce and assume that what your unpopular views are going to have to be enforced by violence. And really, the problem is, I think the main issue that socialists don't understand, because I would say I'm very liberal in nature, and I would like more of a socialist style community, but I know it doesn't work because power. Who are
Mm-hmm.
the people who are going to get in power? Is it going to be me? I'm not running for office because I
Mm-hmm.
don't want power. I don't care. So there's the power bias. There's a book about this recently. It really opened my eyes to it. It's like, of course you have narcissistic sociopaths in power because they're the ones trying to get power.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you and me are not trying to get it. So it's just like, just by default, that's who's going to be in power. And so
Yeah.
those are also the people that you don't want making social decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And what you have there is that, imagine you set up this socialist utopia between you and your friends, like Karl Marx and people, and you all get into power, which you have to do through violence. You get into power, even if you do it by being elected, and everything's cool. Well, you're not going to be in office forever, right? So it's like, who's going to have that same powers you've given yourself 4 years from now? And you're like, well, we'll just increase term lengths till like whenever. It's like, okay, well,
Mhm.
who's going to have the power after you're dead? You don't know who that person is. It could be Stalin. It probably will be,
Mhm.
given what we know about the power bias, right? This self selection bias, I think it was called, which is an excellent term if it wasn't called that in this book. Um, you're selecting yourself to have power. So what do you think the result of that is going to be? Moral of the story is you don't know who's going to be in office.
Mhm.
Um, but here's the big point: assume it's someone you hate.
Always.
So, like, how laws are written matters. All right. So imagine there's a law. Um, we've all decided that Satanists are bad and kind of not necessary, right? A lot of people
Mhm.
can get behind that. Like, should you worship Satan? Like, probably not. I
Mhm.
don't believe in Satan, but I'm just saying. Um, which is more reason for me to just say, sure, make a law outlawing Satan, and what do I care? The way the
Mhm.
law would have to be written would be worded something like, so you should not have religions which are deemed to be unhealthy, unnecessary, and dangerous. Okay. Now you might interpret that as Satanist, but
Mhm.
then after your time is done, somebody else might come around and say, I interpret that to mean Christians
Yep.
because there were crusades and Christians killed people and so they're
I
dangerous.
feel like every
We
religion.
will outlaw, yeah, Christianity. And you can do that again and again and again.
Mhm.
That's the problem with power. So no matter how you word these laws, that you would have to word them in order to facilitate socialist environment,
Mhm.
you have to assume that somebody like Trump is going to have that power after you're gone.
Yes.
And that's what the communists don't understand. Like, even if your intentions are good when you're gone, which they're probably not,
Mhm.
if you're seeking power, but after you're gone, you can assume someone you hate is going to have your power. And
Yes.
then the tide is going to turn on you.
Mhm.
So, and I'm not saying that anything bad about Trump or good or anything. I'm just saying I can assume that communists hate Trump. So that
Mhm.
was my good example.
Okay.
Uh, and if you love Trump and you want to give him all the power in the world, you can assume that a communist is going to have that same power you're bestowing onto Trump later on. So that is why limited government, limited power is the way this was gamed out. There are smart people who gamed out our system this way.
Mm.
The Constitution is not a book of laws. It is a book of restrictions on government. It's essentially a document that says, it's not a book, it's a document that says governments may not do this.
Okay.
And what's not in here, they can do,
Mhm.
right? So it is actually not a book of laws because it's not, we are going to make of laws of things that you must do. It is simply a constitution of laws that will not be written. So the US created huge AI investment bubble and China aims to pop it. So right now, companies are trading at 37 times their earnings, which is completely unheard of. I think the last time we had a huge crash in the US economy, it was like things were trading at like 18 times
Oh, wow.
earnings. And don't quote me on those numbers, but we're basically double that right now. So we're a huge bubble. And what this means is that so companies have a valuation that's on the stock market. So let's imagine there's a company that makes 100, we'll say $500 million every year in revenue, but they're valued at a $1 billion valuation. That's their company value. That's what their stocks are trading at. People have bought into this company so much, and it's like, well, they're actually doing half of that in revenue, which
Mhm.
isn't that big of a deal. But the issue is that companies now, they would, in order to pay back all their investors from the revenue they generate, they would have to be in business for like another 1,800 years. So it's just not real money.
No.
And this is like, I always talk about social capital a lot. This is literally social capital because, like I say, that social capital is like this, where money, currency is social capital. It's not like social capital. Currency, value, money, whatever you denominate it in, Bitcoin, whatever, this is social. It's social capital. They're not separate things. And I'm not saying like, hey, the more social capital you have, the more money you have. I'm saying it's the same thing. Um, and this is a concept that only I came up with and am talking about as far as I know. But the people who don't understand it are the ones who are never going to get by in this world. And the people who do are the ones who are going to be trillionaires, like Elon Musk, on paper, because they understand that value is paper. It is not
Mm,
dollars. It is social capital. And so um, this whole stock trading thing is literal social capital. You can have an organization that is worth nothing and owns nothing, and the value can be, people say, we're going to buy your paper certificates, and you could be worth $100 billion on paper, but actually produce nothing and own nothing as a
mhm.
company. And so this happens like maybe you're a tech company, but then you can do it with things like Dogecoin. And there's so many meme coins. A meme coin is literally what I'm describing. It's nothing.
Okay.
It is a nothing.
It is a
It is
nothing value
it's a
coin.
nothing. It's not even a company. That's the difference between Wall Street and meme coins. So on Wall
Hmm.
Street, you can have a very uh a company with a very high valuation, but actually produce not near that amount in revenue. And then when it comes to these some crypto coins or meme coins, you can actually not have utility in it too. So Bitcoin is an example of a cryptocurrency that has utility, a store of value, or an exchange. It takes a lot of time, effort, energy, and logistics to send you $100 million worth of gold if you're in Nicaragua
Hmm.
and I'm in America. To send you $100 million in Bitcoin is a lot less friction,
Okay.
right? So it has utility, even though it's not a thing, even though it's not a company that exists someplace, even though they're not selling paper towels, you know what I mean? And so, and what makes that valuable, Bitcoin, is not that necessarily it has more utility than other things that are less valuable. So there are plenty of better cryptocurrencies out there as far as the technology is concerned, like Cardano
Okay.
trading as ADA, for example. It's much more intelligent, at least it appears to be. Ethereum, for example, it has more uses than just Bitcoin, which is kind of legacy. It's kind of an
Okay.
old program. Oh, it's an old way of doing cryptocurrency. So, anyways, but it's more popular. That's why it costs more.
That's the only one I've heard out of all the ones you just mentioned.
That's why it's valued higher,
Yep.
because it's popular.
Popular.
It has more social capital.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I digress. Florida man. Cue Florida man. Florida man.
Florida man.
The alligator bartender, a man in Miami-Dade County, was caught on camera attempting to trade a live 3.5 foot alligator for a beer at a drive-through convenience store.
Oh.
Wildlife officials safely relocated the alligator.
I hope that they made that trade. I would have if I worked at the drive-through.
I know. How could you not?
And I would bring it home and have a pet alligator.
I would say, here's a beer. You and your alligator, get the hell out of here.
Oh, that rhymed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I kind of. I'll make an AI song about that.
Ooh, that would be a good one.
Here's a beer. Get your alligator out of here.
And then we're gonna have to find an alligator.
That shouldn't be hard.
I temporarily had a pet alligator as a child.
I see wildlife officials safely relocated the gator, but what do they do with Florida, man?
Safely relocated him as well. Straight to jail.
So how'd you get this alligator? What's that about?
I was a very little girl, and my
It's
uncle
even weirder.
well, my uncle, we all lived together. Like my mom, my grandma, grandfather, aunt, uncle, and I was maybe like 4, 5 years old, maybe a little younger. and they found an alligator and they created a pen for him or her in the backyard,
Hmm.
made out of like fencing, like a privacy fence.
Mm-hmm.
Had like a pit and everything for him,
Mm.
and we fed him raw chicken. I didn't personally, but it was a very common thing down in Miami to have.
Do they eat the bones too?
Yeah, it ate everything. You just gave the raw chicken to it.
They just poop it out.
Oh,
Hmm.
no, I'm not sure.
How long did they have it for?
I don't know. I feel like it was like at least a year. And then I believe, if I am correct, it did get loose.
Hmm.
And then
Always gets loose.
I mean, the alligators always get loose. They're hard
Yeah.
to keep, you know.
Turtles are surprisingly hard to keep too.
Are they? Did you have a turtle?
Yeah, if you have them outside.
I had a turtle outside as well, but it
Yeah.
didn't get loose. I
Oh.
had it like in a aquarium type of setup.
Yeah, I've had a bunch of pet turtles. Mhm.
I had one and it was, I don't know, it wasn't my favorite. My favorite pets are chickens.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They are pretty cool pets.
Mm-hmm.
You just like birds in general.
I do. I didn't realize how much I liked birds until like the last month. I realized that I am a big bird person.
Maybe that's why you like me. I kind of look like a bird.
You like a
I
bird?
was told that. I was told that I look kind of
No. Well,
bird-like.
I don't know who told you that. They're wrong.
And my nose is kind of birdy.
Your note is not birdie.
Well, anyway, cali- caterpillar defense.
That interested me.
This is right here.
Okay.
A man in Pinellas County went on a rampage, destroying displays inside a liquor store. When authorities questioned him, he blamed his destructive behavior entirely on a caterpillar.
Oh, what kind?
Caterpillar made him do it. I don't know, probably the psychedelic kind.
The psychedelic kind.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
used to have this skateboard with a caterpillar on it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it was a psychedelic caterpillar.
Oh, was it like the one from Alice in Wonderland?
Yeah, yeah, that's probably where it comes
Yeah,
from.
that's probably where it came to have like a hookah.
Yeah.
I bet that's what it was. Yeah,
Uh,
Claire has a Rip and Dip hoodie that has a caterpillar and a
like
hookah
from
on
that
it.
song too. Tap my
Hmm.
hookah, smoking caterpillar,
Hmm.
ass giving you. All right,
Yes.
the no seriously guy.
Okay.
This is my favorite one of the week. Uh, a man was arrested for drug possession while wearing an unforgettable T-shirt that read,
Okay.
"No, seriously, I have drugs."
No, it didn't. Oh, that's
Yes.
so good. Does
Um,
not surprise me in the least.
he was arrested. Suspect kind of unrelated to the T-shirt, was suspected of having drugs,
Hmm.
and was arrested while wearing this stupid shirt.
Where did this happen at? Does it say?
It does not.
Mm.
Florida.
I feel like it would be like Lee County.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, Lee County is popping when it comes to things like that.
those Lee Countyers.
Those Lee Countyers.
What are you doing over there, Lee?
I don't know.
Anyways, thanks for putting up with us. Toodaloo.